Hey everybody, it's Asa with No Bones About Wrestling, and this is my review of AEW Fight Forever. So I want to be clear, I'm reviewing the Xbox One version because that is the only version that I've played. So anything system specific, I'm not going to mention it unless it has to do with the Xbox One. So the game came out June 29th after much ado, after what felt like an eternity of waiting, but really was something like 3 years of waiting. Um, and the one negative I'll mention right off the bat, the game does feel like 2021 AEW. It feels like late 2021, early 2022. It feels a bit dated. It doesn't feel, you're definitely not playing 2023 AEW. So some of the newer signed people aren't in it. Like Cody Rhodes is still there. Um, and he debuted Royal Rumble 2022. He returned to WWE Royal Rumble 2022. So if that gives you an idea of where the roster was set, and a team that automatically should have been included were the game made today, the Acclaimed, nowhere in the game. They will be added later, I understand, via downloads, but the Acclaimed not in the game. Just for an example of a big act not in the game. So the roster is a little dated, and also for that fact, the arenas are a little dated. Dynamite has undergone an overhaul, is what I was trying to say, in the way that the arena looks, in the way that the versus screen looks on Dynamite, and this doesn't have the overhaul that's happened. So as I said, everything looks very much 2022, 2021. So that's a negative. And of course, in making a game, it takes a while to make a game. Things aren't going to look exactly as they do when the game is released. There is going to be some lag time. But just in wrestling wrestling that changes so rapidly, a little lag time kind of feels like a lot. But it's the same thing we saw if you look back at WCW NWO Revenge. It was released in '98, but of course it had the Halloween Havoc like '97 arena, or it had the Bash at the Beach '97 arena. So, like I said, there's just lag time on things. So things aren't going to be up to date the second the game comes out. And they have said this is not going to be an annual game. This is the game. It's not going to be like WWE 2K where they release a separate $60 game every year. They've released this one game, it's $60 or whatever it costs now, and they're going to do downloads and patches to update the roster, to update the arenas, to update the match types, etc. So that makes sense, because the bones that are there, no pun intended, no play on words intended, the bones that are there are very strong. It's pretty good. So let's get into talking about it a little more. First, the graphics. They are not up to par. We knew that going in, though. We knew that that Ukes and THQ, they told us, we don't give a fuck about the graphics. We're not trying to push the system's limits. The Xbox One version, a lot of times, looks like it could have been an Xbox 360 game. Very much so. The graphics look dated. They do not push the power of the Xbox One at all. That being said, the animations, for the most part, are very fluid. And of course, in a wrestling game, that's important. You got guys running here, running there, grabbing people. You got grappling, low grappling, grabbing their head, grabbing their arms. You got a bunch of different animations going on. And so if those movements don't look good, don't look fluid, the whole thing is kind of feels off. So most of those are excellent. So that being said, for the graphics, what is there looks good for the graphical style. It looks good in its own style, but just comparing it to the graphics of today, it's very much behind the game. but I think they wanted to do that for a number of reasons. Of course, one, to try and reduce lag online play. Uh, and two, they wanted it to feel and look a bit like an updated WWF No Mercy or WCW NWO Revenge. They wanted to look a bit like those, and in a way, it does. It doesn't look as horrid and blocky as those games look to us now, but it does look, like I said, just dated, graphically. So the graphics are going to get a 3 bones out of 5. The sound, what's here, now this one, I'm a little torn, because what's here is fantastic. It has everyone's entrance music, and it has some entrance music made by Mikey Ruckus and made by Max Caster, some custom entrance music you can use for your custom wrestler, or of course you can use existing entrance music. So there's a ton of music, and the wrestlers' themes play while you're playing the game, and you can turn tracks off and on. If you don't like hip hop, turn it off. If you don't like rock, turn that off. If you just don't like certain songs, turn them off. That's a very nice function, to not have to listen, because in No Mercy it was like the same couple songs, to the point where I would pretty much just put on the TV and play and not even listen to the sound. But here you have a very varied soundtrack. The sounds of the mat and the wrestlers, the grunts, are pretty good. There's not enough vocalizing by the wrestlers while they're in the ring. Like I said, there are some grunts and things like that. A little hollering. They'll do this. They'll go woo or things like that, and so those stand out when wrestlers do those types of vocalizations, because there are so few in the game. So now we'll talk about what's not there. What's not there? Wrestler voices. There are no wrestler voices at all. Like I said, the most you'll get is a wrestler wooing. They don't talk. It's all the story. If you play through a career mode, it's all told through text. No speech. Jim Ross will come on sometimes. If you're playing career mode, he'll come on and talk about a match, or talk about an event a little beforehand. But that's about as much speech as there is in the game. The big glaring thing that's missing is commentary. It's been years and years and years since we've had a wrestling game without commentary. There's no commentary at all, good, bad, or indifferent. There's no commentary, not even basic commentary. And now people are split on this. Some people say you put commentary in a game, it gets repetitive, it gets annoying. I like it, and especially if you're trying to make a wrestling game as much like the product as possible. Get Excalibur on there telling some moves. Get Tony Schiavone on there. Let's hear their voices. It's 2023. We expect to hear announcers in the game. So for the lack of announcers, the lack of voices in the road to Elite, I gotta take some points off for sound. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 bones out of 5. So graphics was 3 out of 5, sound 2.5 out of 5. So now let's talk about what the game does right. Control. The control is terrific. You push the button to grapple, they're going to grapple. You push the button to reverse a move, most of the time they're going to reverse a move. And when I say most of the time, it's a little random, just because you can get the timing down of moves. And if it let you reverse every move, the matches would be really bizarre to watch, and it wouldn't be a lot of fun to play, because it's easy to get the timing down. So it wouldn't be much fun to play an opponent or the computer. And playing an opponent, if you both knew how to reverse moves, the matches would just be bizarre to watch. It wouldn't be wrestling. It would look very strange, just people grabbing and reversing over and over. Sometimes people say the controls are unresponsive, when it's just a matter of they've programmed into the game the fact that you press those bumpers to reverse a move. It doesn't always reverse it for you. and that's if you just got to deal with that in this system. To add realism to the matches, they have put that in to where reversals, you may press the button at the exact right time, it does not always work for you. So that's something you just got to deal with while you're playing. Otherwise, the buttons always do what they're said to do. And I want to make a note, while I'm reviewing this, I'm talking about offline play only. I'm going to do an online review separately later. I'm talking about offline play. So the controls are fantastic. I'm going to give them 4.5 bones out of 5. Controls are great. Great job. Feels good. The pacing of the matches is good. The control, it feels natural. Feels reminiscent of those old THQ games. That's exactly what they were aiming for, and they nailed it. And it just, after a while, it just feels natural to you. So great job. Yeah, 4.5 bones out of 5 on the controls. And lastly, most important to me, at least, the fun factor. How fun is the game to play? Forget the graphics, forget the sound. Is it fun to play? Do I want to keep playing it? And the answer is yes. It is very fun. Just speaking, what's it called? Road to Elite, I believe the career mode is called, has branching paths. So you win a match, you go here, you lose, you go here, you win, you go here, you lose, you go here, etc., etc. So there's a lot of different ways for your career to go. And I've played through twice already, career mode, once with Ray Phoenix, once with a wrestler I created. I played through 3 times, and once with Malachi Black. And each time I've gotten different stories. So it's nice. It does a good job at keeping the stories fresh. Now, eventually, I'll know them all, of course. But the career mode does take... I'm going to estimate, I haven't timed myself while I'm playing. I'm going to estimate maybe 4 hours. I don't know, that's just an estimate. Career mode takes maybe 3.5, I'd say maybe closer to 3.5 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours to beat the career mode. It's probably less than that. I'm just trying to estimate that, but I'm getting off track. The career mode is very fun. They did a good job. Some people say it's too short, whatever. It's fine. The match types that are there are good. We got regular matches. You got exploding barbed wire death matches. You got ladder matches. Triple threat matches. Fatal 4-way matches. The only match type that's not great is a tag team match when you have the computer as your teammate. The AI is a little not so great because, you go for the pin, you need your teammate to come and run interference because you go for the pin, the computer's teammate is going to come in and try and break up the pin. You need your teammate to come in and head them off before they break up your pin. But a lot of times your computer teammate gets blocked off by where you've pinned, or they just come in and don't do it. So the AI there could have been better. And so tag team matches, when you're playing with a computer partner, can be frustrating sometimes, I hate to say. So it would be nice if maybe we get an AI patch on there. That would be nice. And again, I'm reviewing just the offline modes. The mini games that are there are a bunch of different ones. There's matching cards. There's collecting tanks of propane or some shit, throwing them in the ring, destroying barrels, collecting coins that fall from above. There's a baseball home run derby, bunch of different mini games, and you can play them alone, like a Mario Party type thing if you want. Play them on their own, or you can play them, with your friends, of course. And the mini games are pretty fun diversion. The Road to Elite, to go back to it, you play your matches, you have your storylines, and as I said, if you win or lose, it branches off a certain way. And then in each city, you can go sightseeing. You decide how you want to work out, to what degree you want your workout to be. you decide where to go eat, or not where to go eat. You decide if you go to eat at a certain restaurant in the city. It's got some nice little things that haven't been seen in a wrestling game. It makes you feel like you have traveled to that city. They're city specific, the sightseeing and the restaurants. So they want to make you feel like you've traveled to that city, and they did a good job. It was pretty fun. The first couple playthroughs was pretty fun, and then you kind of skip the stuff just because it's repeated, in the cities. So if you go to the same city, you're going to see the same stuff, it seems like. But yeah, the matches are very fun. Most of them are pretty short. If you get a special, nail a couple or get a signature. Nail a couple signatures, get a special, you're usually going to win. So the matches are usually at most like 5 minutes. I wish they were closer to maybe 7-8 minutes, but that's just me. That's just my preference. But most matches, even on hard, are going to be like 5 minutes long. 4 to 5 minutes. If you're really playing to beat somebody's ass, 4 to 5 minutes. Just like a one-on-one match. Triple threat matches, fatal four ways will go longer. Battle royals will go longer, of course. But what is here is very fun. The control is good. Like I said, in all the game modes, it's easy to climb up the ladder. It's easy to throw your opponents into the electrified barbed wire. It's easy to switch your focus when you're in a triple threat or fatal four-way match. All the controls are great, except, like I said, in a tag match, but that you're not controlling. That's just your computer teammate messing up. But the controls are great. The match modes are a lot of fun. What's there is fun. Hopefully they'll be adding some things like blood and guts is what I want to see. I don't hold out much hope for that, of them fitting in another ring and then a steel cage around the two. I don't hold out a lot of hope for them putting blood and guts in, but that's what I want to see. But we are going to get some more modes, and the one that they have announced is Stadium Stampede, kind of like a battle royale. 30 wrestlers in online, 30 wrestlers in a stadium with golf carts to get, or a horse you can ride on, weapons everywhere, everyone fighting. Last man or woman standing wins. So that seems like that's going to be fun. But as I said, this review is just about the offline stuff. So that being said, the game is really fun. It is very fun. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 in fun factor. It is so fun. You don't want to keep playing. Generally, the only time I stop playing is if I am sore from sitting down too long. That's, it's not something the game has done for me to stop playing. It's either my fingers hurt or my ass hurts from sitting down too long, frankly. So the fun factor, 5 out of 5. So just review. I'm not going to give an overall score. I wanted to break it down like that. So just to review, fun factor, 5 out of 5. Controls, 4.5 bones out of 5. Sound, 2.5 bones out of 5. And graphics, 3 bones out of 5. If you have any questions, you want to talk about the game, you want to play me in the game, my screen name is No Bones About Wrestling on Xbox One. Come, play me, talk to me, let's have fun. But if you want to talk to me about the game, get at me here on this video. I'll try and respond to the comments, and I'll have an online review about the online aspects of play coming next week after I put in some more time playing online. But that's it for now. Keep watching for our No Bones About Wrestling reviews. Our Dynamite review comes out Thursdays, our podcast. Our Collision podcast comes out Sundays. And then we, of course, do WWE, Ring of Honor pay-per-views as well. That's it. Thanks for watching, and as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.